Hello friends, I am Cher. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be covering, as the title indicates, Anastasia Beverly Hills Foundation. So I have some samples that I recently got in a little gifting from a friend, and I've been dying to try this foundation. Can you believe I have actually never tried the foundation? Now I love Anastasia Beverly Hills in general, but just haven't done the foundation yet. So I wanted to kind of test it out. I figured I'd just bring you with me for my first impressions of it. Now, obviously, this is not exactly a new foundation, but it's new to me. And I really wanted to kind of compare it to my standard foundation that I always use on my clients, traditional foundation that I use. So I typically use Arbonne on everybody if I'm not doing airbrush. And then I figure I'll probably keep the same primer just so that I can really compare. I was thinking I might do one side with Arbonne and one side with Anastasia Beverly Hills so that I can really compare and kind of see them side by side and feel them side by side and give my thoughts on it. So come on along with me and we're going to get started. Okay, so I washed my face. I probably still have some remnants of makeup on, but it's the end of the day here and you can tell, the face is just bleh. But I washed it off so that it's clean for the base at least. So I'm going to start off with primer on both sides. So this is my Arbonne, as I've said. This is, if you're new here, I do sell Arbonne. I am a consultant. And the reason that I started selling Arbonne as an influencer was that I was starting a makeup practice. And so, I was looking to build my kit with products that kind of met all of my customers' needs. And Arbonne was it because it was, all the products are gluten-free, clean, over 2,000 ingredients are banned that we still carry a lot here in the US. And also vegan, cruelty-free, all these things that I look for. It's very rare to find all of these things in one. And so I tested out the foundation to see how the coverage was because that was the most important to me, was the foundation of what I was going to put on my clients. You gotta have your foundation covered for like bridal makeup and whatnot. And so I discovered I really loved it. It was great, a great formula, good coverage. But most of all, I was really concerned with like something that was going to work with everybody's skin sensitivities. So anyway, I ended up falling for Arbonne and decided, okay, if I'm going to be using it this much, I might as well sell it. So anyway, this is my go-to. But I am still an influencer. I use all different brands, and I use all different brands in my kit too. It's just this is my primary foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on one side, and then we're going to start on the Anastasia Beverly Hills. So, everybody kind of applies their foundation differently. A few tips on applying your foundation, like, some people come in and squirt it on there, and that's not always best for getting it good and blended. Now, really, I should be squirting it on my hand first instead of like this. I get lazy. And then you can come in and kind of stifle it on. That's usually how I do it. Stifling, stifle, however they pronounce it. I really like the stifle. It kind of gives you a coverage that starts to blend on, and you can build it up and helps you kind of blend it out well. All right, so you can see how it's doing. Another thing to keep in mind with foundation, if you're a noob, you don't really want to get into the eyes and like crevices and everything, because you're going to let your concealers and other products handle that. Maybe even finishing powders to help with the airbrush. We're going to do foundation usually just to kind of cover all this other base. And I have a few like freckles and dark age spots, that kind of thing. I don't have a really bad skin though. I'll bring it down into the neck a little bit as well. All right, so let's see if that kind of gives you an idea. But I don't bring it up here under the eyes because then you start to get cakey if you start building on your concealer on top of your foundation. Then what I tend to do with clients as well, I mean, I usually kind of stiffle it first. You know, I do the primer, come in and stiffle the foundation, and then I will go back over it and really build coverage with a beauty blender and just like pat it on. So I'm going to do a little bit of that next. I'm going to show you how you really should do it and kind of squirt it on your hand really, because it just helps it even out a lot more when you do it that way. And we are going to come in and pack this in some more. We're giving really good coverage by doing this, but blending it out too. Okay, so if you really want just a light coverage, I mean, really like blending it with a brush, stiffling, that kind of thing helps. And if you really want to pack on coverage, packing it like this, like, you know, wet your sponge and pack it in, that helps get it on a lot thicker coverage. Okay, just some tips there. And I should probably I've been enjoying doing a Beauty Basics one-on-one. I actually teach a class quarterly on basics, and I've been trying to kind of incorporate it into my content, do lives and reels on just some beginner tips and things like this. So like maybe I should do a foundation 101 or base or powders or something. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if that sounds good to you. All right, so I'm just packing it on here. And so this is how I would do it on clients. So I'm kind of doing it the same way I would, you know, if I was doing bridal makeup and that kind of thing. And you really start to get a better feel too when you add concealer and you have your whole look. So we'll see how far we get. Okay. All right. So can you get a good feel? And I'm sorry, I forget that you guys are this way. I'm not very good at looking at the camera because I'm looking at, you know, the camera on my phone. All right. So there's our finish. What do you think? You can tell from this side, see all that, all those spots, and then nice and smooth coverage and whatnot on this side. Okay, so let's start with some Anastasia Beverly Hills now. So according to what I've seen about them, I think that they are middle, about like medium coverage. This is the Luminous, and it looks like they have W, N, and C. So that probably stands for warm, cool, and neutral. I didn't say that in the right order today. But warm tones, so that's another thing with foundation, some beauty basics for you. You want to know what your undertone is, okay? And this is different than skin tone. Skin tone is more like you can get a tan and the color of your skin can change. You can get more and more tan or a little more pale, you know, that kind of thing. Undertone, though, is just like, that's what you're born with. And, you know, it's what your skin is giving off. So if you are warm tone, you're going to be more on the, I don't want to say bronzy side, but a little bit more bronzy side. You're going to notice that the colors in your veins are going to be more greenish colored veins. Now I'm neutral, so you'll see I have both. I don't know if you can see my green veins as well there. You can see my blue sticking out, but I have both. People with cool tones will tend to have more blue veins. So just so you know. And then like warm tones tend to look a little better with gold jewelry. Cool tones will look better with silver jewelry. You know, you'll just kind of know like outfits, how do outfits look on you. You know, you tend to wear more cool tone colors that look good on you if you're cool tone. Warm tone, you wear more warm tone colors. The other way to know is if you burn or not. So if you tend to burn very easily and you just go straight to like sunburn, you are most likely cool tone. If you can tan very easily, you are most likely warm tone, you're olive skin. If you're neutral like me, then you can burn, but it turns to tan, if that makes sense. Or you don't necessarily burn as easily as a cool tone person. Cool tone people is just pretty much like, they just have red and red. So that gives you a feel for what your undertone is. Some good tips on that, okay? So it's important to know that when you go to pick out your base and complexion products, because everything like foundation, concealer, powders, you name it, you want to look for whether they are cool tone or warm tone or neutral. And so if you have the wrong tone for your skin, you're going to look wrong. You're just going to look wrong. And this is also important even in your contour products, your bronze products. You want to go with products that are, you know, more cool tone or warm tone. And it can be hard with bronze, especially because bronze in and of itself is kind of more like warm tone, you know. But there are some bronzers that are better for cool tone people. I actually have a whole blog post on this. I can link it below as well. I think it's called How to Contour the Most When You're Pale as a Ghost. And it's just basically some good tips if you're pale and have very cool toned skin, to find the right colors and, you know, how to contour the right way for your skin. So you can check that out and hopefully that will help you out. But anyway, sorry, I've talked a lot about the basics instead of the testing this. I might change the title on this. So anyway, okay, I am looking for what is going to be the right one for me. So I'm neutral. I'm going to be looking at, there's really only two ends here. These two, this one and this one. I don't know if they're going to have the right one for me, but I'm thinking that the 220N is probably going to be the closest match for me. So I'm going with this one because I am pretty fair and it is March right now. So I'm just coming out of winter and I am pale as a ghost. Have not been out in the sun. It's about to be spring break though, and I will be soon. Okay, so I'm going to put my, this is a kabuki brush, by the way, the flat brush like this. So these are good for stifling. So I'm going to come in and start doing the same thing. We're going to start stiffling it around, and hopefully it's going to be a close enough color match to really be able to tell how it's doing. Because if you don't have the right color, you guys, it can be hard. You can be really thrown off by the color. Okay. Well, so far I actually like it. You see it's covering a good bit of that, the discoloration, or the, not discoloration, but I had, you know, some age spots and freckling and stuff. So I do like how it's covering it. You can tell I have two different colors. So I use the buff on the Arbonne foundation, and this one is 220 in on Anastasia Beverly Hills. Yeah, 220 neutral. So they're definitely a different color, but I think both colors somewhat work. So if you look from a distance, how's that? I'm trying to think about my thoughts on it. And then I will come back in and do the Beauty Blender as well. I'm going to make sure that I'm being consistent about how I apply it on both sides. Put a little bit more and see what we think. Once again, I did not cover the eye area, and I am bringing it down into the neck too. Okay, so give you a little tour. Now this one has a Beauty Blender already, and this one does not. All right, so let's go back in with the Beauty Blender now. I'm going to try to wipe off my Beauty Blender as much as I can. I just got like a new little cleaning mat too that makes it handy. All right, and we are going to start packing it in. Just try to build that coverage. And I really go hard, you guys. Like, I almost like hurt myself with really packing this on, by the way. I just put it too much on the flat side and I didn't mean to, but okay. Oh, you know what? I always forget the ears. That's one thing in bridal makeup. Like, don't forget the ears when you're doing people's makeup, because, you know, you can end up with like a completely different color. It looks silly. Okay, so that's probably a good stopping point. All right, here is the Arbonne side. Here's the Anastasia Beverly Hills side. So I really don't see a lot of difference. I'm almost feeling like it's the slightest bit smoother over here. I don't know. I will say I do tend to have more damage on this side than I do this one. So that might not have been as good of a comparison. I don't know. They're pretty similar though, in my opinion. I feel like both are doing pretty well. I hate though that I'm doing this at night, so I won't be able to give you as good of a wear test. That's going to be the only thing. All right, what do we think? I have to admit that I'm still liking this side a lot. I love how this wears. It's slightly smoother. Do you see that it's almost, I feel like there's almost like a texture, more texture coming in here. I don't know. But besides that, I feel like the coverage is pretty good. Like they said medium coverage, but I think you can kind of build it up some. The Arbonne kind of is, I don't know. I think the Arbonne might be fuller coverage, so that might be the difference. But anyway, I really do like it. They make it very easy to figure out what your colors should be. I really like it when they do label everything W, cool, neutral. Like, you need that. So I do like that. I like how they label it. I'll just read a few things about it. It says, in a clinical study, 94% said their color stayed true for 8 hours, and 98% said their discoloration was covered naturally and their skin tone appeared more even. 91% said their skin imperfections appeared blurred and skin texture was more even. Yeah, I would say it's pretty good. I like it. I think, though, that I do like my Arbonne better. I just feel like it's got a little bit more glass finish over here. So yeah, pretty good. I think that really is about all I wanted to share. And I think that settles it. It says it's also available in 50 shades. So that's one thing I don't know as much because I've only got a few shades on here. I can't tell you as much about the ranges and if they've covered all skin types, that kind of thing. I would have to look some of that up. So yeah, but I like the coverage on me, and I think that really about wraps it up, you guys. So if you want to see more of these in the future, just testing some things out, some first impressions, comparisons, and basic beauty tips. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and change the notification bell so that you can see more like these in the future. And I will catch you on the next one.